Have you ever been in a conversation and someone hits you with, wow, you actually look good today? What happened? As if your default setting is troll under a bridge? Or maybe you landed a new job and a so-called friend says, I'm shocked. They hired you, but congrats, I guess. Or the classic, you're actually not as dumb as you look. And let's not forget the queen of them all. You're so confident. I could never go out looking like that. If you've ever walked away from an interaction feeling like you just went 10 rounds in a psychological boxing match, questioning your own sanity and wondering, wait, was I just insulted or am I crazy? Then congratulations. You are precisely the kind of person this world has been conditioned to take advantage of. You are the designated emotional punching bag for the insecure, the manipulative, and the cowardly dot. And the moment you show even a hint of disapproval, the second your smile falters, they hit you with the final blow. Wow, you're so sensitive. Can't you take a joke? They will twist the narrative so fast you'll get whiplash, making you the villain for not graciously accepting their disrespect. If you continue to tolerate these 5 disgusting, soul-crushing behaviors, you are not just being nice. You are actively teaching people that you are a doormat with a welcome sign tattooed on your forehead. You are telling them, please, wipe your feet here. My self-respect can take it. The ancient Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, you act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire. What does that mean? It means you waste your precious, finite life putting up with absolute garbage as if you have 1,000 years to sort it out and reclaim your dignity. You don't. Your time is now dot, so today we are fixing it. We are drawing a line in the sand so deep and so clear that no one will ever dare to cross it again. I am going to show you how to level up your self-worth so profoundly that they will. Need Google Maps, a compass, and a search party just to find the energy you used to give away for free. We are going to dissect 5 behaviors that are not just rude, not just annoying, but are straight up unequivocally unacceptable. Oh, and by the way, I always feature my favorite comment from the last video at the very end. So make sure you stick around to see if your words made the cut. Now, let's get to work. First. Let's talk about the silent killer of self-esteem. Backhanded compliments and sarcastic insults disguised as just jokes. You know exactly who I'm talking about. It's that friend, that family member, that coworker, who wraps their insults in a pretty little bow of humor. They're the ones who say, wow, you actually cleaned your apartment. I am impressed, with a tone that implies you normally live in a pigsty. Or, it must be so nice having all that free. Time to hit the gym. Some of us have actual responsibilities. And then, like clockwork, the moment they see the hurt flash in your eyes, they lean back, smirk, and deliver the ultimate gaslighting line. Oh, relax. It was just a joke. Don't be so serious. Let's be crystal clear. That is not a joke. A joke is meant to be funny for everyone involved. What they are doing is psychological warfare with a laugh track. That is a coward throwing punches with a smile because they lack the courage to say what they really mean. People who constantly bombard you with just plain sarcasm are not trying to make you laugh. They are meticulously testing the boundaries of your self-worth. Every single joke is a calculated jab, a little probe to see if you'll swallow the disrespect, laugh it off, and stay small. They're checking to see if you value their fake conditional approval more than your own dignity. Because if you dare to call them out, if you have the audacity to say, hey, that wasn't very nice, they will immediately flip the script. Suddenly, you're the problem. Wow, someone's sensitive today. I guess I can't joke with you anymore. You've changed. They make your valid reaction the issue, not their initial act of aggression. And what is truly sensitive here? It's your tolerance level. You have been trained, perhaps for years, to swallow these tiny doses of micro-abuse just to keep the peace, to avoid being labeled as difficult or dramatic. But let me ask you, what peace are you keeping? That peace is fake. It's a fragile truce built on the foundation of your silence. And the person delivering these jokes, they're just as fake. Their behavior is rooted in a deep-seated insecurity and jealousy. When they see you shining, when you achieve something, Or when you simply exist with confidence, it holds up a mirror to their own perceived inadequacies. They can't stand the light, so they try to dim yours. They want to bring you down to their level where they feel comfortable. It's a pathetic, passive-aggressive power play. They get the satisfaction of insulting you and the plausible deniability of it being just a joke. It's the perfect crime for the emotionally immature dot. So, what do? You stop playing their game. The next time someone hits you with one of these jokes, don't laugh along to ease the tension. Don't even get angry. That gives them too much power. Instead, hold your ground. Stare them down with a calm, unwavering gaze and say, you say things like that a lot. Is there something you're actually trying to tell me? Or even more powerfully, just ask, can you explain why that's funny? Watch them squirm. Watch them backtrack and stutter. You have just dismantled their entire strategy. You've taken away their shield of humor and forced them to stand by their words. They will either have to admit their true, malicious intent, or they will be forced to retreat. Either way, you win. You have just taught them that you are no longer a safe target for their cowardly jabs. You have to be willing to endure that moment of awkward silence. That silence is where your power is reborn. Number 2 on our list. The guilt trippers. These are the undisputed masters of emotional blackmail. The professional victims who have weaponized their feelings to control you. You try to set a simple, healthy boundary, and they react as if you have just committed a heinous war crime. You tell them you need a night to yourself to rest and recharge, and they respond with a heavy sigh and, wow, I guess I'm just not important to you anymore. You take a few hours to reply to a text because you're, living your life, and they hit you with, glad to know I'm so forgettable. You finally say no to helping them with their 59th crisis of the week. A crisis they probably created themselves, and they deliver the knockout blow. I just thought you were a real friend. I guess I was wrong. Listen to me very carefully. Manipulation wrapped in a cloak of victimhood is still manipulation. It is one of the most insidious and toxic forms of control because it preys on your empathy, your kindness, and your desire to be a good person. They want to maintain control over your time, your energy, and your decisions. And they have discovered that if they can't force you to do what they want, they can guilt you into it. They have perfected the art of making their wants your responsibility. Their happiness becomes your job, and if they are unhappy, it is presented as your failure. And if you keep responding to that guilt, if you keep caving in just to make them feel better, you are not being kind. You are being emotionally mugged, in broad daylight with a sad puppy face as the weapon. Every time you give in, you are reinforcing their toxic behavior. You are teaching them that all they have to do is turn on the waterworks or play the martyr, and you will abandon your own needs to cater to theirs. This is not a relationship. It's a hostage situation where your own well-being is the ransom. These people are often deeply insecure and have a desperate need for validation. Their sense of self is so fragile that your no feels like a personal rejection and invalidation of their entire existence. They haven't learned how to self-soothe or manage their own emotional state, so they outsource it to you. You become their emotional support animal, their unpaid therapist, and their 24/7 crisis hotline. But here's the brutal truth. It's not your job to manage a grown adult's emotions. It's not your responsibility to sacrifice your mental health. To coddle their insecurities. So, the next time the guilt trip train pulls into your station, you need to let it leave without you on it. You have to be brave enough to disappoint them. When they try to lay the guilt on thick, you need to hit them with a dose of radical honesty. You can say, I understand you're disappointed, but I need to do what's best for me right now. Or, if you want to be more direct, try this. If my no offends you more than your unreasonable expectations burden me, then this relationship is already dead. That statement is a pattern interrupt. It completely reframes the situation from you being mean to them being demanding. It forces them to confront the imbalance they have created. They will likely react with more drama, more accusations, but you must hold your ground. Your peace of mind is not up for negotiation. Third, we must address the people who can't celebrate you, only compete with you. Let me say this as plainly as I possibly can. If they only show up when you are losing but conveniently disappear the moment you start winning, they are not your friend. They are not your supporter. They are a competitor in disguise, a fake cheerleader with a fragile, secret ego. When you fail, when you get laid off, when you go through a breakup, they are suspiciously supportive. They are the first to call, offering a shoulder to cry on, saying, "Oh, you're too good for them anyway." They seem to revel in your misery, not because they care, but because your struggle makes them feel superior. Your failure validates their own mediocrity. But watch what happens when you succeed. You get that promotion, you find a loving partner, you start that business. Suddenly, they ghost you. Your calls go to voicemail. Your texts are left on read. The supportive friend is nowhere to be found. Or worse, they don't disappear. They stick around to poison your victory with their passive-aggressive envy. They'll say things like, "must be nice." Some of us aren't that lucky, as if your hard work, your sleepless nights, and your sacrifices had nothing to do with it. They will try to diminish your achievement by attributing it to luck or privilege. Then they might accuse you of changing or acting different since you got the job or the partner. They might even go really petty and say, "just don't forget where you came from." And to that, you should look them dead in the eye and say, "Buddy, I haven't forgotten where I came from. That's exactly why I'm never going back." Listen, you have to understand that not everyone in your circle is happy when you grow, especially the people who have grown comfortable and complacent with your struggle. Your success is a glaring spotlight on their own inaction. Your glow up is a personal affront to their stagnation. They don't want you to win. They want you to stay in the same place with them, miserable and complaining about how unfair life is. That's their comfort zone. These are the energy vampires who feed on drama and defeat. They are the crabs in the bucket, pulling down any crab that tries to climb out. You cannot afford to keep these people in your inner circle. It's like trying to run a marathon with an anchor tied to your leg. You have to cut ties with the ones who feel threatened by your growth. It will be painful, especially if you have a long history with them, but it is absolutely necessary for your own journey. Real ones, the people who truly belong in your life, don't compete with you. They clap for you. They celebrate your wins as if they were their own because they understand that a rising tide lifts all boats. Surround yourself with people who are not afraid to see you shine, because your light doesn't dim. There's fourth on our list of unacceptable behaviors is the constant one-sided conversation. Have you ever had a friend who acts as your personal diary? They will call you and trauma dump for hours straight, detailing every single problem in their life, their drama at work, their fight with their partner, their existential crisis of the day. They use you as an emotional landfill. And you, being the kind and empathetic person you are, you listen. You offer advice. You provide a shoulder to cry on. But then the moment the conversation is over, they disappear like a ghost in the wind. And when you need a shoulder, when you are the one having a bad day, suddenly they are too busy. Your call goes unanswered. Your text gets a one-word reply hours later. Or worse, you finally get a chance to speak, to share something about your life, and you can practically hear them zoning out on the other end of the phone. Their responses are generic, like, "wow, that's crazy," or "oh man." While they're clearly scrolling through social media or watching TV, your words are nothing more than elevator music to them. A brief, boring interlude before they can talk about themselves again. Let's call this what it is. That is not a friendship. That is emotional colonization. They have claimed your time and energy as their own territory without any intention of reciprocating. They don't want a friend. They want a free therapist with no license and no appointment necessary. And you keep showing up for your shift, running a free clinic for the emotionally constipated, draining your own life force to keep theirs afloat. A healthy relationship, whether it's a friendship or a romance, is a two-way street. it requires reciprocity, a mutual exchange of energy, support, and attention. If you are constantly the one giving and they are constantly the one taking, the relationship is not balanced. It's parasitic. You are being used as an object, a tool for their emotional regulation. Your own needs, your own stories, your own life are deemed irrelevant. This behavior is often a sign of extreme self-absorption and a lack of empathy. These individuals see other people not as whole, complex beings with their own lives, but as supporting characters in the movie of their life. They are the star, and you are just an extra with one line. How can I help you? You have to stop volunteering. For this role, your voice deserves to be heard. Your problems deserve to be listened to. Your life matters. So the next time you find yourself in one of these one-sided monologues, you need to cut it off. You can try a gentle approach first. When they finally take a breath, you can say, "Thanks for sharing all that with me. I'd love to tell you about what's been going on with me too. Do you have a few minutes for that?" Their response will tell you everything you need to know. If they make an excuse or quickly end the call, you have your answer. If you're done, with the gentle approach, be more direct. Say, "I've noticed that our conversations are almost always about you and your life. For this friendship to feel balanced and mutual, I need to feel that you're just as interested in my life as I am in yours. Can we make this a two-way street, or should I stop wasting my breath? It's harsh, but it's honest. You are not a receptacle for other people's emotional garbage. You are a person who deserves to be seen and heard." Finally, number 5, the boundary. Bullies. These are the people who will actively punish you for trying to protect yourself. You finally muster up the courage to set a boundary. You say no to a request that drains you. You ask for some space after an argument. You state your needs clearly and calmly. And what happens? They don't respect it. They push back. They test. And then they accuse you of being cold, distant, or difficult. They will hit you with the classic line, "You're so difficult these days." Or, "You've changed. You used to be so much more fun, easygoing, nice." Yes, you are different. It's called self-respect. It's called personal growth. And it is deeply, profoundly triggering their lack of control over you. These people absolutely love the old version of you, the version that bent over backwards to please everyone, the version that kept quiet to avoid conflict, the version that never ever said no. That version of you was convenient for them. That version of you made their lives easier. The moment you stop being a doormat and start having a spine, they call you selfish. Why? Because your growth is inconvenient for them. Your boundaries are a direct threat to their ability to use and manipulate you. Boundary bullies come in many forms. They can be the parent who still treats you like a child and gets offended when you make your own decisions. They can be the partner who ignores your request for personal space and calls you unloving. They can be the boss who constantly asks you to work late and acts personally insulted when you finally say you have other plans. They do not see your boundaries as a healthy expression of self-worth. They see them as a personal attack. Their tactic is to make you feel guilty and unreasonable for having needs. They want you to believe that setting a boundary is an act of aggression, that wanting respect is too much to ask. They will gaslight you into questioning your own sanity. Am I being too harsh? Am I selfish? Maybe I should just give in too. Keep the peace. No, that is their manipulation working. The peace they want is the peace that comes from your complete and total submission. So, when you encounter a boundary bully, you cannot back down. You must hold the line. When they accuse you of being difficult, look them dead in the eyes and say, "My growth isn't selfish. It's just inconvenient for people who benefited from my lack of boundaries." Or, more simply, "This is not a negotiation. This is my boundary. Your options are to respect it or to lose access to me." You have to be as firm and unmovable as them. They will test you. They will push and prod, hoping to find a crack in your resolve. Do not give them one. If you're tolerating any of these 5 behaviors, your self-worth is quietly bleeding out in the background of your life. You don't even realize how much precious energy is sucking from you, energy you could be using to build your dreams, to find joy, to live a life of purpose. But here's the incredibly good news. The moment you start calling out this behavior, the second you decide that you're done, your entire life will change. It's like a fog lifting. You will start to attract better people, people who respect you, people who celebrate you. You will keep your energy intact, and you will finally start living like someone who genuinely values themselves and doesn't hand out discounts on their dignity, just to keep people around who don't deserve to be there in the first place. Now, recognizing the red flags is the first step, but it is not enough. You have to know how to respond. You have to respond like someone who is done playing the nice, disposable character in someone else's horror movie. It's time to become the hero of your own story. First, you must set boundaries like a bouncer at the most exclusive VIP party in the world. Your time, your energy, your peace of mind, these are not public property. They are VIP passes, and you are in complete control of the guest list. You do not owe everyone access to you. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your life. And if someone keeps overstepping, you do not negotiate with them like a confused intern. You don't try to explain your feelings in a 12-page essay. You be blunt. You be clear. You be done. Say it like this. This is my boundary. If you continue to ignore it, I will distance myself to protect my peace. Say it like you mean it. Or don't bother saying it at all. And then you must let go of the guilt. You are not being mean. You are not being selfish. You are finally acting like your life, your sanity, and your well-being matter more than someone else's comfort. Second, and this is crucial, stop trying to fix grown adults. Some of you are walking around with a God complex, thinking you can heal everyone. You see a broken person, and you make it your mission to fix their trauma, to be their personal savior, to love them back to health. Stop it. People show you exactly who they are through their actions, not their words or their sob stories. If someone is consistently manipulative, dismissive, or energy draining, do not turn them into your project. They are not a school assignment. You can get an A on, they are a walking, talking headache. You fix broken phones. You don't fix broken people who secretly enjoy being broken because it gives them attention and absolves them of responsibility. Your job is to save yourself, not them. Third, you must master the power of the silent exit. Not every departure requires an announcement. You do not have to throw a farewell parade every time you decide to cut someone off. You do not owe them a 12-slide PowerPoint presentation, detailing every single way they have wronged you and the emotional trauma it has caused. Some exits are best made quietly, without drama, especially when you have repeatedly communicated your feelings and they have repeatedly ignored you. No dramatic final text, no back and forth arguments, no desperate plea for closure. Let me tell you a secret. Most of the time, closure is a scam. When a toxic person asks for closure, they don't want to give you peace. They want one last chance to gain access. They want an opportunity to guilt trip you, to manipulate you, to hoover you back into their cycle of dysfunction so they can continue. To be useful to them, your peace should never be up for discussion. Sometimes the most powerful statement is your absence. Fourth, you have to start acting like you are the prize because you are. Every single time you tolerate disrespect, every time you laugh off a backhanded compliment, every time you give in to a guilt trip, you are sending a subconscious signal to yourself and to the world that you are desperate for company, that you are willing to accept scraps of affection. You are not a clearance rack item waiting to be picked up by anyone who shows the slightest interest. You are a damn luxury good, and luxury doesn't chase. It doesn't beg, it doesn't discount itself. It waits to be earned. The next time someone makes you question your worth, don't get into an argument. Don't try to prove them wrong. Simply remove yourself from the situation. The strongest flex in the universe is not confrontation. It is elevation. You rise above it and you walk away. And finally, number 5, expect resistance. The moment you start enforcing these new rules, the moment you start building your boundaries, the snakes will hiss. People who benefited from your lack of self-worth will not go quietly. They will say you've changed. They will accuse you of being cold and selfish. They will test you again and again, hoping you'll crack and go back to being the people pleaser. They knew and loved. Growth does not come with a round of applause from your old life. It comes with pushback. It comes with friction. But you know what else it comes with? It comes with a profound sense of peace. It comes with unshakable self-respect. And it comes with a life where you no longer feel like a damn emotional janitor, constantly cleaning up everyone else's mess. Listen to me. Your peace is expensive. Your energy is sacred. And your time is non-refundable. So stop giving out front row seats to people who wouldn't even bother to clap for you. You have been given one life, just one. You can either spend it desperately people-pleasing, trying to win the approval of people who don't even like themselves, or you can spend it people-cleansing, curating a life filled with respect, joy, and genuine connection. The choice has always been and will always be yours. Now for the comment of the day. This one comes from a user called Mental Iman, and it reads, I didn't expect to get called out like this on a random Tuesday. My spine cracked from carrying guilt that wasn't even mine. Spine crack? That's not a crack. That's the sound of chains breaking. That is the receipt for all the emotional nonsense you have been holding on to for far too long. That is the sound. Are you getting your power back? You should be incredibly proud of that feeling. I know I am.